See, normally things would be a lot more loose.
Right.
We try to respect the ones that are in here.
Oh yeah. No, you could be
situation.
yourself. No, but and I think my kids are at an age where they're allowed to watch and hear certain things. They know that they can't say those things. You know what I mean? And there's times where I get upset and I say things around them, and they'll look at me like, "Hey, you realize what you just said?" I'm like, "Sorry, I'm just upset." Like. It's the reality of life. Like, you may hear your grandparents curse. You may hear, you're going to hear people curse is the reality. I can't shelter you and pretend like it doesn't exist. Like,
I don't think I ever heard you curse ever.
Yeah.
Like, not once.
And it's like, there's these words and you have to understand what they mean and why you can't say it. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, my kid hears everything. I have absolutely no.
Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and put a snippet together, a couple of your songs.
All right.
Kind of give everybody an idea of what you actually do if you've not heard the reminders. Here we go.
This is what you're missing.
Yeah.
Turn it up. Hold on. Nope, stop. Wrong one.
It's you.
Team stay supreme with the culture and class. Way above all the lies, smoke, mirrors, and flash. Always listening for the hissing of a snake in the grass. We cut them off at the head, quick, easy, and fast.
Reminders quick blast from the past and future. Young voices, old soul, heavenly mixture. Blessed with the best universal scriptures. Always
the way it is, the way it is.
Can it be like it was all so simple? Even though Pops was not around and Mama had to struggle. Surviving in the ghetto, we hustle, that's universal. Like an international plague, I hit us in the middle of the body. My community's been torn apart. I was told if you want to change, you gotta start with the heart.
I can feel it, I can feel it.
Some people cry out of anger, some because of pain. I cried in my songs for both and pray to gain power and strength, keep it simple and plain. Where I'm from, you gotta be strong to not go insane. Purify your heart, then cleanse your soul. Earth, wind, and fire said love is pure gold. So I use it in my music for the young and the old. Bundle up, little homie, this world is so cold.
Nice.
And there you have it.
So much talent.
Just a little taste.
Yeah, just a little bit. And those songs are kind of a couple, 2 years old?
Yeah,
old?
they've been out for a little bit. We have 2 albums. The first album's called Recollect. We put it out at the end of 2008, and then Born Champions 2012. And we're working on new music. We have a lot of new music. Just we're not comfortable enough to share it yet. We're not quite there. We're trying to get a couple more songs ready to go before we can put out a new album and release singles and stuff like that.
And you'll release it on Double
We'll
Barrel
release
Doo-Doo.
it. Yeah. Oh, no. we'll go ahead and give you a shout and pass it down. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, great influences. I mean, Asia's voice is just amazing.
Incredible.
Well, it's funny that you guys went on tour with Lauryn Hill, because yesterday I was thinking just that when I was listening. I was like, man, she's got like that same tone, and then like Mary J. Blige.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where a lot of people compare our group to Outkast, Fugees, and just that era and that kind of music, because it's not just hip hop. It's hip hop, but it has soul, reggae, a little bit of everything, just like the Fugees had. And a lot of times when we perform, people say, "Oh, you remind me of Mos Def," and Asia reminds me of Lauryn Hill. And Asia will always say, like, Lauryn Hill, like, that's a big compliment, like,
sure,
you don't just take that compliment lightly. Until when we performed with Lauryn Hill, we did Boulder, Denver, and then she invited us to go on to Chicago, Memphis. Like, so we went with her for like a week and a half. But one thing she told Asia, she said, "You remind me of myself when I was younger." So it was like,
oh, that's huge.
I told her, I said,
like her hair grew out like 4 more inches. Like,
I was like, look, now once people tell you that, now you got to take it, because even she told you that you remind her of her. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's a compliment. I mean,
big time.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest compliment you can get.
Yeah, sure.
Well, how is she? Because like I remember back in the day, when I met her at, when we were doing group homework, she was very shy.
Yeah,
very, very, very reserved. Yeah. And then you see her like on the videos and out there, and it's like,
and it's
that's
funny,
not the same person,
right? Even when because Asia came from a spoken word background, she was doing more of a spoken word, and then turned it into raps, right? But her voice has always been there. She's always had an incredible voice. I remember the first time I heard her rap, and I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute!" I was like, "You're a lot better than a lot of people I know."
She can flow right there with you.
I was like, "Look, you're a lot." And at the time, she was coming to my shows, right? So I was like, "No, you are an incredible artist, and you really need to pay attention to this," because she was playing sports, she was playing softball, so most of her energy went towards that. And just like I said, like she would do a couple hooks for me and things like that, and then I would go and do shows by myself, opening for De La Soul and KRS-One, and she would just be on the stage, just standing still. And I was like, you can't do this. Like, you need to move around. Like, she was so crazy shy. And so, you know, with work and with practice now, she's a live wire. She's all over the place. You know, her dreadlocks are just flowing, you know, all over the place. And, you know, just seeing that shift has been incredible. And she laughs at it every time. She's always like, do you remember when I used to just stand on stage? And I'm like, yeah, now you can't stand still at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, the stage presence is awesome.
Crazy,
you guys put on a hell of a show.
And you know, that goes with working out every day. You know what I mean? Like getting that cardio up and just staying active.
Yeah, because to be able to sing or rap and perform and run from this side of the stage to the other side of the stage, I get winded just running upstairs, man. There's no way I'm going to do that for an hour.
And you know, getting that practice here in Colorado and being able to tour, then it's just a walk in the park. Once we're on the road and you're in places like Texas, like, oh, this is nothing.
Are you guys signed to a label, or do you have your own?
We're
label?
not. You know, we've been doing everything ourselves, man. It's been challenging. But, you know, we've been making it happen.
It's kind of a blessing, too, though,
It's definitely a blessing, but I feel like if we had the right person managing us, then we probably could be a lot further.
Do you have management?
We working on it. We worked on it off and on and just trying to figure out the best situation. You know, the best situation that's going to get us somewhere. Because if you get management and they really can't do anything more than you can for yourself, then it's almost a waste of time.
So you guys are looking for a label, then?
We're looking for not necessarily a label. Say, for example, if you find an agent can keep us on tour regularly, then that may be the way to go. If we could find a publicist that can get us more notoriety and be in magazines and be in blogs and things like that, then that may be the way to go. So we're just trying to find what's going to work for us, because I feel like nowadays there's no, you know, back in the 90s or the 80s, you get a record deal, you get on TV, and that was one way. Nowadays, like, you just never know what's going to work for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what may work for you may not work for me. You know, I've seen guys get signed, and then it's a good situation. I've seen guys get signed, and then they're just sitting there. Like, one of our friends got a deal, and she wrote a song for some pretty big artists. So her name is out there that way, and she's in magazines, but she can't really put out music because of the label say you can't put out music right now. You know what I mean? Or you can't really do shows. So
you're on someone else's time.
So now all of a sudden you don't have that control, you know. And I'm somewhat of a control freak, so I like to be able to move as I want to move. You know what I mean? So
it's not a situation where if somebody came to you and offered you a huge chunk of money, you're not going to sacrifice the beliefs and the way that we do our music. And
definitely not.
You know what I mean?
Money. I mean, the only way it'll work, like I said, like, is if it makes sense. If it makes sense for our family, if it makes sense for us in the long run, because we're not going to put ourselves in a situation where, you know, it's like shooting yourself in the foot, you know?
Yeah, and it sounds like you guys are doing great. I mean, you're successful. You're getting to see the world.
Yeah.
You know, you're putting out this awesome music and videos.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, and it's great, and I'm really thankful for it. A lot of it is, you know, it's out of pocket. You know, it's all coming from us. You know, we don't have any big sponsors or anything like that. Like, so we're really just 100%.
That just proves what you're doing is you're doing the right thing.
Right.
If you're able to fund your own stuff, then something's going well.
For sure.
And the independent market in general, I mean, it's just as big as a label.
It is.
You know, I've got a lot of friends that do the same thing. I don't know if you know Mr. J. Medeiros.
Yeah. I'm really familiar.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. He used to be at the Percussions. And, you know, he's in France too. I thought that was weird
because his wife is from there, right?
Yeah. So, you know, he's always posting pictures, and he's got this like big, gigantic, like, I don't know, loft or whatever, and he's got like one bed in the middle of it, and that's it. And that's where he works. That's where he does all this stuff. But the dude is like crazy talented,
man.
And he pays all of his own stuff. He's not with the label. He just does everything. He's been doing it for years, and he has the biggest following with you guys. I didn't realize how big of a following you guys actually had.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a perfect example with Jay, is that, you know, number one, he comes from here.
Yeah.
From Colorado Springs, and being able to make a way for yourself to travel the world, and also trying different things. Like, I know for a while they had different situations with the Percussions, with, you know, distribution deals and things like that. And then if that works, cool, keep doing it. And if it doesn't work, then you modify and you do what is going to work for you, just like he did. You know, like, okay, well, let me try something else. Let me just go back to doing it myself. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and it's as simple. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm sure you don't have Tech Nine on your playlist.
No, not on mine.
But you know,
that's a perfect example.
Yeah, the number one all time independent record sales in the world.
He made Forbes list a few times.
Yeah. I mean, the dude's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he did it all by himself. And I mean, what is he, like 40?
Yeah.
He's like 42, 43 years old.
I mean, there's something to be said for not having to do what you're told, to do what you love to do. There's people that you're connecting with that, maybe a label or mainstream whatever says, well, this is what's next. This is what's new. This is what's popular.
Yeah.
I think that the best artists don't compromise, and they put out there, even the artists that were on a label, once they get out of that contract, they put out better music than they ever had on the label every
now
time.
They're like, all right, I could do whatever I want.
Yeah, and it's a freedom about it, and that's what music's supposed to be. So,
well, one of the things I like best about you is the authenticity about everything that you do. You don't talk about being a gangster or holding your gun beside you or any crazy crap like that. You know.
And you can't see him right now, but clearly he is a gangster, and he's clearly strapped with at least 3 or 4 firearms.
I've got a double barrel shotgun, and he's got his sidearm. So I think we're safe.
We're safe.
This is one of the nicest looking gentlemen you've ever met in your life. It's like if I didn't know you, I would just hand you my baby.
Hey,
here,
man,
hold on to my baby while I.
But and you got to have that balance. You got to be a nice guy, but you also got to be able to protect yourself and defend yourself when necessary. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? And I think that's the good thing about balance, because I try to keep that balance, try to keep a smile on my face. But hey, if you want to try me, then we can go. I mean, I wouldn't fight Drew.
Oh, you're saying you'd fight me though? Okay, I'm picking up on this.
I think I might beat you in power, but cardio wise, I think.
Me and this guy are going to go outside here real quick.
Let's go sparring, right?
Trampoline fight.
Oh, we talked about it a little bit. You're talking about protecting yourself, but we talked about it a little bit. You said you do shoot. You're getting into it now. You're starting to get into firearms and stuff like that.
And I don't have a big. I know a lot of people have big collections, man. I don't know if you guys are those guys with just a bunch of.
I got a few. I've got a few.
Yeah, I have a couple of my buddies who, like I said, they're in the service, and I'm talking about they have safes just full of ARs and the whole
dedication,
thing. Man. Yeah, because it costs a lot of money, man. Like the more I go shooting with those guys, I'm like, I like this one, I like that one. But then I look at the price and I'm like, never mind.
Just range ammo, just getting enough ammo to go have fun is like you're going to spend $100 easy. I mean, going out and shooting for an hour.
Well, my cool, 20 gauge over here. I can get a couple boxes for $40.
That you still have no ammo for?
No. Look, I love the fact that I have it, and it's intimidating if I had to pull it out and be like, listen, dude, you shouldn't be in my house. But my wife won't let me keep ammo in the house.
Yeah.
I don't trust it yet. Until I'm able to lock it up. Right now, it's just a centerpiece for double barrel doo-doo.
It looks nice. It looks great.
So
I really enjoy shooting. I'm not a crazy gun toting person, but I have one, and I think that's all I need for now.
Yeah.
I mean, I have children and a wife at home, and we living in a crazy world. So
absolutely.
And that's what a lot of my friends told me, and these guys are telling me no, one is not enough. You need to get something that's high powered, because if they come to your house, I'm like, I'm not quite there yet.
Gun enthusiasts, we can be a little bit, overboard sometimes.
So I just, I'm taking it with a grain of salt, one step at a time.
Well, did you hear that story? I think it was today, maybe yesterday. It came out. A young kid did a home invasion, and it was an older lady. She was probably 60 something, 70 something, and she carries.
Yeah.
And she came home while the kid was in there.
Yeah.
And he was robbing the house, and he tried to take off, and she shot him.
Wow.
And he ended up dying in the hospital. And the kid's cousins, 2 of them, were on the news, and they were like, why would she shoot him? Why would she go through the process of shooting him and killing him? He wasn't doing anything wrong. He was just trying to find money to buy clothes for his school. To go to school with.
And that's the problem. The mentality of how to do things, that these are kids that aren't being raised the way that, Samir and Asia are raising their kids, and the way we try to raise our kids. They're not being guided in the right direction. And that's, it comes from above. No matter what anybody says, it comes from above.
Well, and even in the news story, the reporter that was interviewing these 2 women, he had to pause. And you heard him pull the mic. It's like, are you serious?
Yeah,
did you just really ask?
Really just say that?
It's crazy. And my mom used to be really against firearms and things like that. And I remember going to her house 6 months ago, And my stepfather was like, these crazy times we living in. And he takes me to his office, and they both got a piece now. Like, he has a 9mm, she has a 380. I was like, what the hell's going on around here? You know what I mean?
I'm more of afraid of an older lady or an older gentleman with a gun than I am with, some young kid with a gun, because they're